Alright, we are looking at page 23 of Modern Chord Progressions, and on this page Ted is introducing us to what he calls the 7th chord diatonic forms, and he's asking us to try building diatonic 7th chords from the following forms, right? These major 7 forms, all in the key of E, and he essentially wants us to run chord scales derived from these forms. So just looking at the first form here, major 7, and it's on us to consider, okay, if I move every pitch in this chord up a diatonic step in the scale, what am I going to get? You can get F sharp minor 7. Again, everything up a step, G sharp minor 7. Everything up a step, A major 7. Everything up a step, B7. On and on, C sharp minor. Here's the odd one out, D sharp diminished. And we're back to E major 7. And you want to add your own embellishment, some rhythmic intuition. Enjoy the sound. Try and name what you're doing. Can you identify the interval structure? 1, 5, flat 7, flat 3, right? 1, 5, major 7, 3, etc. That's a nice shape. I like this shape. This, just all neighboring strings. It's a good one to have, right? Then Ted takes us to this one. Pretty common shapes on the guitar. Running out of room up here, but I think I can get it. Keep going. You'll know you really have these when you can switch string sets, right? Because this voicing 1, 5, 7, 3, that is this voicing 1, 5, 7, 3. That's just an octave lower. You could think of it 1, 5, 7, 3, and then 1, 5, 7, 3 here, and then of course the next thing Ted introduces is 1, 5, 7. 1, 5, 7, 3 here. Minor 7, A major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, right? So running these chord scales is going to force you to learn the more typical 7th chord shapes and how they show up on the guitar. Those first 3 forms are all, root 5th 7 3, whether that's a major 7 or a dominant 7 or a major 3rd or a minor 3rd. After that, Ted introduces this shape, another very important guitar shape. We got 1 major 7 3 5. And that takes us to this sort of situation. Also very important, fingertip chords. Unless you get to that minor 7, you want to get this bar. That's very tight for a fingertip sound. You can do it, but middle and then ring barring the rest of the situation. Once again, the odd one out. D sharp minor 7 flat 5, E major 7. Practice different embellishments. Try and identify the interval structure of every chord. Then, of course, Ted brings the same interval structure. That's 1 major 7, 3, 5, but on the next set of strings, the A, G, B, and E string. That's going to give us these. All right. Oh. Just way up there. There we go. Okay, so, if you... Gets a little tricky way up there, but you get the point. Now this next one, this is a fun one. This is a stretchy one. You got 1, 5, major 3rd, 7. It's a great shape. It's going to call on you to stretch a bit. Very low. lovely. You got that 7, whatever the diatonic 7 is, on top. This is a great one for outer, inner, right? Oh, can you hear my dogs barking? Well, as I was saying, that's a great example of, or a great shape to work with the outer inner sound, because there's a lot of space in this chord, right? That's a big leap there, almost to 2 octaves, right? So for instance, outer, inner, inner. Oh, one more time. Outer, inner, inner, outer. Doing that all the way down. And this forces you to get accurate with your right hand in a way that you might not otherwise. And notice you can pull more magic musical sauce from the chord when you decorate them, as Ted says, or you choose to iterate them in various sequences. So then naturally, Ted takes us to the next voicing of 1, 5, 3 major 7, but on this string set. Another stretchy sound, but totally doable. And notice, right, for all of these more intricate chords, bar chords, it's not a thing. It's not that it's not a thing, but a lot of these more intricate chords are going to call on you to use your fingertips, each one of them, and maybe bar just a section of the neck, not the whole thing. Anyway, let's give these a listen. And I'm running out of room. Yeah, I don't have a high D sharp up here. That's all right. Sort of naturally embellishing. Now notice I can keep coming down. Minor 7, B7. Now here I'm going to switch string sets. Okay, what else? So now then, of course, Ted chooses to introduce a pretty challenging one. So this is a more pianistic voicing. It's 1, 3, 5, 7. That's a beautiful sound on the guitar. And of course, since we're in E major here, we can add the B and the E string as well. Beautiful sound. Now these are hard to grab, so notice you want to be careful. You don't want to hurt your hand, right? Notice what's going to help you grabbing these is having more leverage on the neck. So notice, this might be a bit much for a lot of you, but the less parallel the neck is to the ground, the more leverage you're going to have for these weird stretchy chords, right? So it's going to be harder to grab that like this than it is like this. So do yourself a favor and try and get a little bit of a tilt, right? You can do that by adjusting your guitar strap or giving yourself a footstool, whatever you got to do. This thing levitates. I have a levitation device here, so the guitar levitates. But whatever you need to do to get the neck a little more, upward slanting. Anyway, let's listen to these. These are going to be tricky. I'm probably going to crash and burn, but here we go. Minor 7. Yeah, see, I'm already crashing and burning because that's tough. One more time. G sharp minor, A major 7, gonna octave reduce because it gets too tight up here, B7, now that's a tough one, alright, C sharp minor, 7, D sharp minor 7 flat 5, those are stretchy. There it is, B7, A major 7. I'm going to octave expand it up here. G sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 7, and we're back to E major 7. Now this, I can imagine some of you just saying, well, forget that because I don't think my hand's going to be able to do that. And as my friend and former teacher John Stoll said to me, you can train your hand to do anything. You can train your hand to do anything, right? So you can learn these things. You just have to hit your head against the wall for 6 months or however long it is, and be careful, right? Be careful, because you can hurt yourself. You don't want to overextend anything. You don't want to strain your wrist, right? You have to be careful, but you can get these shapes. Now, that said, if these are just too ridiculous or seemingly not applicable to your playing, they're wonderful for melody, not necessarily as a chord, but seeing it as a melodic line, right? So not necessarily having to grab it as one chord, but as a melody line, a means of creating melody. And oh, my dog is wandering in here. I wish I could show him. Oh, he's leaving now. He's like, Jacob's busy. All right, so dog just left. Now look at this chord, just because I can show you this one. This is fun. 1, major third, 5, major 7, 9, 5. This is called a ridiculous chord that I wouldn't recommend really to just about anyone. But look at it. That's a lot of work. On the piano, that's so much easier. It's stupid. On the guitar, it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's keep going. We're almost done with these major 7 forms. So once again, that was root, third, 5, major 7. Ted gives us the same thing here, root, 3, 5, major 7. And thanks to the tuning of the B string, it's a lot easier to grab, right? We can bar the G and the B for our major 7 sounds. Minor 7, still a bit stretchy. Major 7, dominant. These are friendlier on these voicings on this string set are a bit friendlier. I love the minor 7 flat 5 sound here. It's a good one, and that's my dog barking. I don't know if you can hear that, but he agrees. He likes it. All right, now what else we got? So then we got the same thing, 1, 3, 5, 7, but doing it here. And this is also friendlier because the B string, the tuning of the B string allows the shape to be a bit more compact. F sharp minor 7. Now for those minor 7s, I like to use my middle finger just to grab the double stop on the G and B string, right? I'm going to octave reduce this. A major 7, B7, C, where are we? C sharp minor 7. Yep. D sharp minor 7 flat 5. That's a little tricky, but you're good. And E. B7, A major 7, G sharp minor. These are all pianistic voicings, right? Oop. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, on the piano, it's quite easy to go 1, 3, 5, 7. On the guitar, I mean, it's not hard, but it's, it's a bit more of a stretch, right? We can't just plop our blah, 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 blah. That's easier on the guitar, or pardon me, easier on the piano. On the guitar, you kind of have to work for it. But there's trade-offs, like this next chord, this situation. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say that's probably, presents its challenges on both the guitar and the piano. But anyway, here we've got a new shape to deal with. We got 1, 3, major 7, 5. Let's see what this gives us. That's a fun one. And notice you have these 3 notes on the lower strings, give you a lot of meat to the chord. Oh, pardon me. And you could think of that B string as offering a melody note. Where are we? B7, A major 7, G sharp minor 7. I'm going to octave expand this one just to stay out of the muddiness of the lower end. Octave expand. And that's the first row of major 7 chord shapes that Ted gives us, and he's asking us to, derive the other diatonic 7th chords from that shape through the chord scale. So give it a whirl. There's more on here, but maybe I'll make a video of that tomorrow. Adios.